Love is the force that shapes every moment of our reality. It is not an emotion that comes and goes. It is the creative power moving silently beneath every desire, every intention, and every unfolding experience. When you understand love as the energy that designs worlds, you begin to treat your inner state as the master key to everything you seek. The life you imagine does not appear because of effort, struggle, or fear. It appears because you return again and again to the feeling of love, allowing it to saturate your assumptions, your beliefs, and the identity you choose to wear within. To manifest beyond imagination, you do not chase the outside world. You turn inward toward the quiet warmth that tells you everything is already yours. Love is not a request, it is a decree. When you stand in the awareness that love is the power running through you, you no longer beg for your desires. You claim them, you embody them. You let the end feeling of your wish fulfilled rise within you like a knowing that cannot be shaken by circumstances. There is a sacred transformation that happens when you choose love over resistance. When you think of your desire with love, rather than desperation, it begins to move toward you effortlessly. The mind becomes clear, the heart becomes steady, and the world around you begins rearranging itself to match your inner certainty. The moment you decide that what you love is already yours, the universe has no choice but to align with you, because creation responds only to the frequency you sustain, not the words you speak. Love dissolves doubt, it silences fear, it lifts you beyond the limitations you once believed were unbreakable. When you move in love, you stop battling with appearances. You stop arguing with delays. You stop questioning your worthiness. Instead, you rest in the awareness that you are the dreamer, and love is the dream made real. Every desire you hold is simply a reflection of the love within you seeking expression in form. To manifest a life beyond imagination, allow love to be your starting point and your ending point. Imagine with love. Assume with love. Walk through your day with the quiet confidence that everything is unfolding in perfect harmony. Even the silence begins to feel magical. The moments between your desires and their manifestation become soft, peaceful, and full of certainty. You begin to trust the unseen more than the seen. There is nothing in your life that cannot be transformed through this power. Relationships soften, opportunities appear, money flows, healing unfolds, paths open that you never knew existed. Love goes ahead of you and clears the way, shaping events, people, and outcomes to match the inner state you have chosen. And when you feel the shift within, when the love in your imagination becomes more real than any external condition, you realize that you were never waiting for life to change. Life was waiting for you to remember who you are. You are the one who brings the unseen into the seen through the simple act of choosing love in every thought, every assumption, and every end you imagine. This is the power that manifests a life beyond imagination, not by force, but by the gentle certainty that what you love is already done. Love is the silent architect behind every reality you have ever stepped into, whether you recognized it or not. When you look back at the moments that shaped your life, you will notice that the most powerful ones, the ones that redirected your path, opened doors, brought miracles, or shifted your identity, were always rooted in love. Even when life felt chaotic or confusing, love was the hidden current beneath the surface, rearranging everything to guide you toward a version of yourself that you had not yet met. The more deeply you understand this, the more effortlessly you begin to work with the flow of creation rather than against it. There is a point in the journey where you realize that love is not simply the key to manifestation. It is the substance from which every manifestation is made. When you desire something, it is not random. The desire is born from love. Something within you recognizes that a certain experience, person, dream, or version of life belongs to you, and love pulls it into your awareness. Desire is love seeking expression. Imagination is love giving that desire a home. Assumption is love choosing the end. And manifestation is love made visible. When you breathe deeply into this understanding, something profound shifts inside you. You stop treating your desires like distant goals and start treating them like extensions of your being. You stop fearing time. You stop fearing loss. You stop fearing uncertainty. You allow love to become the foundation upon which every inner movement rests. When you think of your future with love, you stop trying to control every step, and instead you trust the invisible forces that respond to the energy you generate. You learn to navigate your inner world with intention, clarity, and softness. There is a beauty in realizing that nothing outside of you has the authority to delay or deny what is already aligned with love. Circumstances may appear resistant, but appearances are nothing more than temporary shadows cast by old assumptions. Love dissolves them the moment you stop giving them power. When you choose to remain loyal to your inner certainty, the outer world has no choice but to conform. This is not spiritual poetry, it is the mechanics of creation. It is how reality operates beneath the surface. Every time you return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, every time you allow love to infuse your imagination with the end result, you activate a chain of events that no human logic can fully comprehend. People you have never met begin making decisions that align with your desire. Opportunities that seemed impossible begin forming. Paths you never considered begin unfolding. Life adjusts itself to reflect your inner frequency, because life cannot do anything else. It is law, it is nature. It is the silent agreement between you and the universe. This is why thinking lovingly of your desire is the most powerful thing you can do. When you think lovingly, you think without fear. When you think lovingly, you assume without doubt. When you think lovingly, you speak from a place of knowing rather than hoping. And when your thoughts, assumptions, and inner dialogue are saturated with love, your manifestation becomes inevitable. The timing becomes perfect, the unfolding becomes effortless, and the end result becomes more beautiful than anything you could have planned. Love moves you beyond imagination because imagination itself expands when love is present. You no longer picture your desire with desperation or longing. Instead, you picture it with gratitude, joy, and ownership. You begin to feel the reality of it so deeply that the outer world feels small in comparison. This is the moment you transcend limitations. This is the moment you shift from wanting to having. This is the moment creation responds with speed, precision, and synchronicity. When you rest in the feeling of the end, you enter a state of knowing that cannot be shaken. Even if nothing external seems to change, the inner world becomes still, calm, and full of certainty. This inner stillness is not emptiness. It is the fullness of your desire already fulfilled. It is the silence of completion. It is the energy of creation preparing to express itself through your life. Every time you choose love while imagining your desire, you align with the version of yourself who already has it. You step into that identity, that confidence, that energy. You merge with the future that belongs to you. The world outside then mirrors that inner shift, not because you forced anything, but because you allowed the truth of who you are to rise. You are not manifesting from lack, you are manifesting from overflow. You are not manifesting from fear, you are manifesting from certainty. You are not manifesting from the old you, you are manifesting from the version of you that lives beyond imagination. Reality bends for the person who walks with love in their thoughts, certainty in their heart, and clarity in their inner world. You begin to see how effortless manifestation was always meant to be. You begin to understand that nothing is outside your reach because everything you desire is already within your consciousness. The world is simply reflecting your internal state, like a mirror that cannot argue with the face that stands before it. This is why inner transformation always precedes outer change. When you elevate your inner state into love, the mirror of life has no choice but to reflect beauty, abundance, connection, opportunity, and fulfillment. You become magnetic. You become aligned. You become unstoppable, not by force, but by resonance. There is a natural unfolding that happens when you stop resisting love. You stop revisiting old stories that no longer belong to you. You stop rehearsing fears that were never yours to begin with. You stop feeding doubt with your attention. Instead, you feed your desire with your inner certainty. You feed your imagination with clarity. You feed your assumptions with love. And slowly, then suddenly, your life becomes a reflection of everything you once imagined in silence. The things you once prayed for become normal. The dreams that felt distant become everyday experiences. The life you thought was beyond imagination becomes your reality because you dared to imagine with love. Love expands your sense of possibility. You begin to see opportunities where others see limits. You begin to feel solutions where others feel problems. You begin to sense breakthroughs where others sense dead ends. This is not optimism, this is alignment. This is not daydreaming, this is deliberate creation. The more you trust love, the more you trust yourself. The more you trust yourself, the more confident your imagination becomes. The more confident your imagination becomes, the faster your manifestations happen. The world around you becomes fluid, flexible, and responsive. People respond differently. Doors open unexpectedly. Conversations align perfectly. Even timing adjusts to match your inner rhythm. You begin to understand that every moment is orchestrated with precision when you lead with love. There is nothing in your life that cannot be reshaped through this power. You can rewrite your relationships by assuming the end with love. You can attract abundance by thinking of wealth with love rather than fear. You can heal your body by imagining it restored with love rather than worry. You can call in opportunities by assuming they already belong to you with love rather than doubt. Love is the force that collapses all resistance. It is the power that rearranges the unseen. It is the frequency that creates worlds. When you imagine your desire with love, you are not hoping for it. You are claiming it. You are stepping into the version of yourself who already has it. You are aligning with the truth that the desire was yours from the moment it was born within you. Love and imagination together form the blueprint of your reality. They are the two forces that cannot be defeated by time, circumstance, or doubt. When you hold them together, everything becomes possible. Nothing is too big, nothing is too far, nothing is too late. The life beyond imagination is not a fantasy. It is the natural expression of a person who chooses love as their inner state. It is the inevitable outcome of someone who dares to assume the end from a place of certainty. It is the destiny of anyone who realizes that the power that creates worlds, lives, within their own consciousness. And when you finally see this, truly see it, you stop fighting for your desires and start welcome them. You stop chasing and start receiving. You stop waiting and start knowing. You move through the world with a quiet confidence that everything is unfolding for you, through you, and because of the love you carry within. There is a moment in every journey of creation where you begin to realize that love is not something you direct outward. It is something you allow to rise within yourself. The power you seek is not in the world around you, but in the way you interpret it, respond to it, and imagine beyond it. When you choose love as the foundation of your inner world, everything changes. You begin to think differently, feel differently, react differently. You stop judging delays. You stop fearing outcomes. You stop doubting your worth. Love becomes the lens through which you see the entire universe, and suddenly the universe begins to respond in ways you never expected. There is a softness in the energy of love that many people misunderstand. They believe that power must be forceful, loud, or intense. But true power is quiet, it is steady, unwavering, and deeply rooted in certainty. When you create from love, you create from a place that does not shake when the world shakes. You stand firm even when circumstances appear contradictory. You hold your inner vision even when the physical world has not yet caught up. This is the kind of power that transforms a life from ordinary to extraordinary. When you imagine with love, your imagination becomes more than a mental picture. It becomes an energetic signature, a living blueprint. Every thought charged with love gains weight, clarity, and direction. It becomes something the universe cannot ignore. It becomes a command, not a request. It becomes a declaration of who you are and what you choose to experience. Love fuels your imagination so deeply that your inner world begins to feel more real than anything outside of you. And when your inner world becomes dominant, the outer world adjusts accordingly. You may not notice the changes at first. They might appear subtle: a shift in a conversation, an unexpected opportunity, a sudden feeling of peace where there was once anxiety. But these small shifts are signs that your reality is aligning with your inner frequency. They are evidence that the unseen is becoming seen. They are reminders that love is not passive, it is actively reorganizing the circumstances of your life in ways you cannot yet observe. This is why it is so important to trust the unseen. When you trust the unseen, you trust yourself. You trust your inner state. You trust the force moving through your consciousness. You no longer panic when things seem still. You no longer question why nothing external is happening yet. You know that something is happening, even if you cannot see it. You know that love is shaping the circumstances behind the scenes. You know that what you have imagined with love is on its way, because the moment you assumed it, it began. Many people struggle because they imagine with fear rather than love. They imagine from lack, from doubt, from insecurity. They question the timing. They question their ability. They question whether they deserve what they desire. And yet, the moment you shift your inner state into love, all these doubts begin to fall away. Love does not argue with fear, it dissolves it. Love does not confront doubt, it outshines it. Love is not in competition with negative thoughts, it stands above them. The more you return to love, the more naturally you elevate yourself beyond every limitation you once believed in. There is a profound clarity that comes when you allow yourself to imagine your desires with love. You begin to see them not as fantasies, but as inevitable expressions of who you truly are. You recognize that the things you want are not random. They are reflections of your inner potential seeking to become visible. You want love because you are love. You want abundance because abundance is your natural state. You want freedom because your soul was never meant to be confined by fear. You want joy because joy is the essence of your being. When you finally understand this, your desires stop feeling like distant dreams and start feeling like memories of a future that already exists. You begin to feel familiarity with the things you haven't yet experienced physically. You feel connected to outcomes that have not yet appeared. You feel at home in the version of yourself that has everything you once longed for. That feeling, that deep inner knowing, is the energy that manifests the unimaginable. Life begins to respond differently to the person who has chosen love as their inner reality. Conversations shift. People treat you differently. You attract circumstances that seem tailor made for your desires. Synchronicities appear. You begin to walk into rooms you once thought were close to you. You begin to meet people who mirror your new energy. You begin to experience breakthroughs that feel effortless, as if the world is moving in perfect rhythm with your intention. What you once believed would take years can unfold in weeks. What you once believed was impossible becomes normal. What you once begged for becomes something you cannot imagine being without. Love collapses time. Love bridges distances. Love rewrites stories. Love accelerates manifestation because manifestation is simply the physical expression of the inner state you sustain consistently. There is a profound transformation that occurs when you stop allowing your old assumptions to define you. Every time you revisit an old assumption, one rooted in fear, limitation, or doubt, you recreate the same patterns in your life. But when you choose love, you choose a new identity. You choose a new story. You choose a new way of seeing yourself. And when your self concept shifts, reality shifts with it. This is why the most powerful thing you can do is to treat yourself with love. Think of yourself with love. Speak to yourself with love. Assume the best for yourself with love. When you do this, your inner world becomes a sanctuary. You no longer fight with yourself. You no longer second guess your worth. You no longer sabotage your desires through fear based thinking. You become aligned with the version of yourself who lives beyond imagination. Sometimes the transformation is internal long before you see external evidence of it. This is not a delay, it is preparation. Life is rearranging everything to match the new energetic version of yourself. Old patterns may fade, old relationships may shift, old habits may fall away. This is not loss, it is alignment. It is the clearing of space for the life you are calling in. When love becomes your dominant energy, anything that does not match that frequency naturally dissolves. There will be moments where the old world tries to pull your attention back, moments where circumstances appear unchanged, moments where doubt whispers in your ear, moments where fear tries to reclaim its place. But every time you choose love over fear, you strengthen your manifestation. Every time you choose the inner vision over outer appearances, you reinforce your power. Every time you choose certainty over confusion, you accelerate the unfolding of your desire. You begin to notice that the gap between your imagination and your physical reality becomes smaller. You begin to feel that your desires are closer. You begin to sense outcomes before they appear. This inner sense is not fantasy, it is resonance. You are tuning your frequency to match the reality you want. And when your frequency matches the end you desire, manifestation stops being a question and becomes a guarantee. Love makes you magnetic. It draws opportunities, people, and experiences toward you without effort. You no longer chase anything, things begin to chase you. The more you embody love, the more reality bends in your favor. You feel lighter, you feel clearer, you feel more connected to your purpose. You begin to wake up with a sense of excitement rather than anxiety. You begin to feel guided rather than lost. You begin to move through life with a sense of flow rather than struggle. There is an undeniable power in knowing that your inner state is the true source of your reality. When you finally grasp this, you stop giving the external world the authority to dictate your destiny. You stop reacting to circumstances as if they control you. Instead, you recognize that they are mirrors, reflections of old states that no longer define who you are. And when you change the state you live from, the mirror must change its reflection. And now you stand in the quiet realization that the power you sought was never outside of you. It was always in the love you carried, the love you imagined with, the love you allowed to shape your inner world. Everything you desire is already moving toward you the moment you choose to feel it as yours. Do not look to the world to confirm your power. Look within. The world follows you. The circumstances follow you. Reality bends for the one who leads with love. So walk forward with the certainty that nothing is too big for you, nothing is too far, and nothing is impossible. You are the dreamer, the creator, the source of the life you long for. Choose love, assume the end, and watch the unimaginable unfold in ways more beautiful than anything you ever dared to picture. Your new reality begins the moment you decide to love it into existence.